Hello and welcome to all you September people. This is another color reading from Karen's Colors, and this time it's for July 2026. Now, if you've been here before, then you know what to expect. I'm Dr. Karen, and I give general color readings for each of you to see how your next month will develop. If you haven't been here before, well, then you probably find this a little unusual, but find yourself extremely welcome all the same. June was a bit of a mixed bag for most of us, and if you had a little bit of a problem, then I hope that by the end of the month it has sorted itself out. Certainly, July offers us another start to a different month, and as a general reading, take what resonates and please leave aside what doesn't. You might even like to come back towards the end of the month to see just how it fared for you. So let's begin then, shall we? Now, before I begin, this month we're going to be taking one of the oracles from the Treasures of Takashi. Listening. Now is the time to listen to your intuition. Slow down and quieten the mind chatter. Listen to your own words and ensure you are using positive language. When you hear others, make sure you are truly listening to what is being said, and remember to listen to more than just the words. Listen to your world with your heart. Let's now look for some colors for people born in September to see how their July 2026 will eventuate. And as a strength, we have pink on brown. As the obstacle you will face, we have orange on cyan. And the underlying support energy will be yellow on yellow. Pink on brown, the strength that you carry with you into July. Pink is what you're doing in the real world. Brown is the driver that occurs in the internal world that causes the activity in the real world. Brown internally is the goal-oriented. Throughout July, you're going to find yourself actually wanting to not only decide on a new path for yourself, but also working out how to go about obtaining whatever it is that you are looking for in the real world that will satisfy that drive internally to achieve some sort of goal. There is here a need for developing practical skills. What is it you need to learn in order to be able to accomplish what you are setting out to do? In the real world, however, you don't really have whatever it takes in order to accomplish these things on your own. This is the strength. So having pink in the real world basically means that you will be attracting towards yourself the sort of people and assistance that is needed in order for you to accomplish what you are looking for. So if there is something that you want to achieve, then in the real world, you'll find the opportunities and also the people involved that will enable you to get those things done. This is help for what you need in your internal world. So whatever the driver is, whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever it is that you have set as a goal for yourself, in the real world, you are able to simply accept assistance from others that will give you what you are looking for. The obstacle you're dealing with is orange on cyan. Now, orange and cyan, while not exactly opposites on the color wheel, are fairly close. And this means there is a clash of values as well as activities taking place. The cyan internally means that you want perfection. You want things to be absolutely correct and right and beautiful and living forever, just some sort of peace, harmony, and all the other wonderful things that are driving you in the internal world. But in the real world, what you get is simply drama after drama after drama. Orange in the real world is a need to actually stand up to survive calamity and crisis that is coming towards you. And because this is an obstacle, the harder you attempting to make things peaceful and calm and settled and to just stop things from happening, the more things actually happen that will disrupt the status quo. This is a rather uncomfortable obstacle to have to deal with because it's a push-pull. You're looking for harmony and peace and quiet, and all you're getting is drama and excitement and just too much of everything. And so there is a feeling here of being exhausted internally, because in the real world, you're constantly having to deal with one crisis after another, and that is the obstacle that you're dealing with throughout your life. The underlying energy here, though, is rather interesting because it's the same color top and bottom. We have yellow on yellow. When the same color exists in both the driver and also in the activity, it means that not only is there a limitation in what it is that you are capable of doing throughout the month, but also it gives you an opportunity to open yourself up to anything else that is excluded by those colors. Now, of course, yellow has the ability to create a great deal of joy in your life. It's joy because you have learned to let things slide when they need to slide and to overcome whatever fears there are internally. So here we have a distinction between feeling somewhat in trepidation about what's likely to happen, and in the real world, being able to put on that happy face and to find happiness and joy within life. But remember, this underlying energy works both as underlying support for the strength, but also for the obstacle. So it has a double meaning. Let's now have a look at what happens when we put these together. We have pink over brown. We have yellow on yellow. And we have orange and cyan as the colors that are active for this reading. So what happens when we put together the underlying energy with the strength? Now, in the real world, the underlying energy is active in the real world as yellow and pink. Yellow is learning new things. Pink is being vulnerable and open to new things. So here we have between them an opportunity here to be constantly in a state of being the novice, the new learner in any given situation. And that is one of your strengths. Throughout July, you're going to find yourself situated where you feel perhaps as though you are out of your depth a little bit, but at the same time, you're learning new things, and those things are exciting. What is of interest here is that when we put pink and yellow together, mix them as a single color, we end up with orange. And that can be a bit of a problem for you because orange is the action that occurs as your obstacle. So here we have a situation where being the new person, learning new things can actually put you into a state where eventually you'll feel not only overwhelmed, but you need to overcome whatever crisis is being thrown in your way. Perhaps there is a test that's coming up that you don't feel particularly prepared for, even though one of your strengths is the ability to absorb information even though that information is totally unknown to you. The driver internally here is the brown and yellow. So here we have a combination in which the brown, the ability to create goals and to work your way to work out how to achieve those goals, and yellow, the need for finding yourself in a happy place that allows you to use those goals and to select the ones that you really are aiming for, then this together becomes something of a move towards obtaining something that is long desired. You really, really want this, and you've wanted it for a long time. This entire picture here is one of a student learning something new. Now, I don't know what your particular circumstances are, but whatever it is, you're going to find yourself enjoying the action of learning, enjoying being able to set new goals, enjoying being the person that is the center of attention, which most pink people, being baby energy, are able to accomplish, being the center of attention as you learn something new. So I dare say here you're going to find yourself in a new situation, a novel situation that you haven't been in before, but there are things that you do know from the past, there are lessons that you've learned that enable you to move forward effectively. What happens, though, when we take that underlying energy and we attach it to the obstacle? Here we have a slightly different situation. If we take the yellow and the orange together, then we have joy and crisis mixing. But as an obstacle, it means that there is an issue here. So maybe that joy is something that is hard to attain. If we take the two colors and mix them together thoroughly, we end up with a gold. And gold is always about prosperity. It's about financial gain. So here, as an obstacle, it means that what you are doing back here in this learning situation is to try and overcome the fact that there is a lack of financial stability within your life throughout July. So maybe there is some sort of loss going to happen as well. Maybe you're going to find yourself spending more money than you really wanted to or needed to in order to obtain whatever it is that you are looking for back here. The underlying driver for this is cyan and yellow. Yellow becomes a fear inducer because it is linked to your obstacle. And cyan, also linked to the obstacle, is a lack of peace and harmony and quiet. It means that these two actually are causing you a fair degree of unrest and perhaps even distress. Because when we take the two colors and mix them together, we end up with a type of green. Only this is a very pale green, and the paler the green, the more dramatic the changes that you're aiming for. Green is about creating change, heading off the new directions. And if that's the driver, there is here a sense of wanting to gamble with something or other. And because what you're gambling with in the real world is your prosperity, the struggle that you have to overcome in July is one of being able to make the correct choices to enable you to develop the prosperity that you need. But there is a risk here that you won't do that because this is the obstacle that you are dealing with. So let's have a look at the colors that are missing, because they will give us a clue as to what it is that you need to consider as alternatives. Well, we don't have any black, and there's no white. There's no red or green or blue or grey or purple. These are the colors that you are currently not using, the skills that you currently have in abeyance. Black, you need perhaps to consider taking some time out. Step back from what it is that is involving you here and think about things more carefully. White, on the other hand, is the opposite meaning. It actually asks you to step forward. Okay, confront it. Look at things head on. Be open to anything and everything that comes your way. Red is about gathering together all of your energy and putting it into some sort of authoritative but also specific use. Here you have a little tiny bit of red within this peak, but basically that little amount of red is just enough to get you assistance, but it's not you taking charge of yourself. Green, although it's hidden in the bottom here, is about making choices that are based on new starts, letting go of the past, getting rid of the recrimination and the remorse and the feeling of negativity that comes with constantly needing to find something different to do. Blue is about being steady and steadfast and organized and simply getting things done because it's your task to do them. Grey is about finding the middle road between the black and white. And instead of closing yourself off or just simply allowing anything and everything to happen, grey enables you to look for and find that middle path that allows you to be aware of what needs to be retreated from and what needs to be approached. And finally, purple is all about creating change that has to do with healing, that has to do with making things better. But like everything that needs to be healed, it had to be damaged to start off with. So these 7 colors represent opportunities that are available to you if you choose to take them on. So choose from amongst these the one that is most appealing, and then the color that is least appealing, and pop those into your life to see what it is that you can do to change the sort of trajectory that you're dealing with here. So that when you find yourself coming to a situation where you're feeling uncomfortable because you are overloaded with too many things to have to deal with, and that is associated with your prosperity that is under threat due to the influence of the underlying energy, then you might find yourself on a different path altogether, and perhaps it will be one that is of greater benefit to you. Well, if nothing else, July certainly seems to be becoming a very interesting month indeed. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed this reading and that you take away from it or from the treasure of Takashi something that will benefit you throughout the month of July. Until we meet again, may the colors of your life bring you all of the joy and happiness that you require for your own higher good. Catch you next time. Bye.